Camera number 365 of 365 is the Nikon F6, and the final that Nikon film cameras that they produced. Let's have a look. I will warn you, if the F5 had so many pages, well, the manual in the F6 consumed about 180 pages, so there's no way I can cover all of these options, so I will be trying to keep it concise if I can. But please forgive me, because it is a camera I'm very happy with. It really allows so much of the benefits of the digital era that we've perhaps grown accustomed to. You can experience that with the F6. In fact, that's really where the F6 kind of has gone, really. The F5 had still buttons that had dedicated functions. Well, we've gone into the area of now custom functions, and we have a liquid crystal display that allows us to go through a series of menus. So there we go. Now the camera came, it normally has a battery door and cradle for the battery here, but the camera actually came with this MB40, which is the extra grip, and allows more functionality. So let's just put that on if I can. In fact, what I'll do, I'll just recompose the image in the... I won't. I'll hold it for a minute. Let's just see if we can... There we go, put it on. There we go. I'm just going to have to change the angle of the camera now. So let me just do that. So there's the grip attached. It houses 8 AA batteries. We get to it just by unlocking it. And there's the cradle. So as a consequence, it makes the camera heavy, but the camera is much lighter than the F5 and certainly the F4. Plastic or carbonate is being used here, so to make it slightly lighter. But adding the 8 AA batteries certainly adds to the heft of the camera. But the benefit is that you get an additional focus button just there, back focus button, and a command or sub-command dial, and dial there for portrait mode. So that's very useful. And it came with the camera. Unfortunately, I haven't got the other battery compartment, so I have to use the camera like this, but that's not a problem for me. Now the camera takes autofocus lenses, so we're kind of leaving the AI era behind, but you can use AI lenses, and indeed you can input them into the camera to remember the focal length and the aperture, and then you can call up. And the benefit with that, of course, is that you may gain access to one of the key features of the F6. It's 3D color matrix metering. So for me that's a real benefit, because I think I've mentioned previously I do like my 70-300, which I can swap between my D500, so very at home. The F6 and the D500 very similar, and that makes it life much more pleasurable. But I won't put the lens on because it just over balances that camera. So so the lenses, that's a key factor in the choice of the F6. It does like D, G with CPU lenses, so that as I say, the color matrix metering can be used. Or alternatively, we can still use center weighted and spot metering, or just ordinary matrix, color matrix metering. Matrix metering, not color matrix metering, sorry, correct there. Okay, so on the front here we have our little switch that can change from continuous, single or manual focus mode. Our lens release, we have a provision for a flash and a remote there. We have a couple of buttons that can be customized. I believe that's the, if I remember rightly, I'm going to have to, no, I can't check because I haven't got the page in front of me. I think that's the stop down button, which is obviously an electronic one, but these buttons can be programmed to do certain things, which again, in the certainly on the D500 I can do that as well, so that's useful. We've lost the ability to change our head, so that's gone by the board now. So it is an integrated camera. We can choose from spot, center weighted or matrix metering. And then on the top here, I'll go over here, whoops, we have a little diopter that we can use to make the camera fit to our eye. And we have our on-off button and also a light up for the top liquid crystal display. I don't think it does the back one as well. That's didn't know that. Okay, we have our film rewind, and then we have various release modes. We can do single, continuous, low, high, continuous silent, self-timer, and mirror lockup. And a little button that locks those in place. So not so many locks as in the F5, but then hopefully it's slightly more foolproof. We have back bracketing, and then a lock. On the other side, we have auto exposure, focus lock. So that's auto exposure and that's auto focus lock. Back button focusing. Our command dial that allows us to choose various things related to either the camera or to selections in the custom menu. There are many custom, which I won't even go through. I won't even go down that route, but we can really make the camera our own. On the other side, we have a mode button that allows us to choose from aperture, shutter, priority, program mode, which is a shiftable program mode, and did I say shutter, aperture, manual, program, shiftable program. And we shift the program, I think it's with the front, or is it the back? Can't remember. No, I think it's the back. Okay. Our little rocker button here that allows us to choose our focus points. See that? I don't know if you can see that in the liquid crystal display there. Just moving around the focus points. So we have our focus modes here. We have sort of an autofocus mode, an AF mode. I can't think what it's called. I'm trying to. There we go. Dynamic mode. That's the expression. And then so that's the dynamic autofocus mode with closest subject priority apparently. We then go through group dynamics. Is the next one. And then the next one below that is dynamic AF, and then a single area focus mode. This is one of the cameras you really must read the manual. There are just so many. I really feel as though I'm skirting the edges here with what the camera can do. Our button here that unlocks the film advance so we can manually rewind our film, or if we press button number 2 we can make it go into the camera automatically. There are still other options here. This is where we get our menu, and that's where we can control our menu. We use our rocker button here, principally. We can change our ISO, our flash options, and info mode here. We can make it more detailed or less detailed, depending on what we want. Full range of information through the viewfinder. We have a blind here as well. So that's all the basic options, tripod mount in the camera. But as I say, it's one of those cameras you really need to read the manual because it's just a lot of information here. But then going into the digital world, that's what we did, and we grow to use the camera, and so clearly I need to use the camera more. That's the clear message that comes through this video, I think. So this is a camera that needs to be used, not sit on the shelf. So I'm going to go off and use the camera. Bye. Oh, sorry. Nikon F6 camera 365 of 365.